Shout out to the real ones around the universe and the notification crew. What it do? Back with another one because I was thinking about a movie I just watched recently, and if you grew up in the late 1900s, you know exactly what movie I'm talking about. It had your famous sheriff who had a snake in his boot and his friend from a galaxy far, far away. I was watching Toy Story. I love Toy Story growing up. The reason why I love Toy Story is the same reason why y'all did. Not only was the movie great, but there were so many different toys that were spawned to us at your local Toys R Us, where I used to spend my Christmas cash. Yeah, we used to love running up in Toys R Us and just trying to. One thing I used to do, and this is wild, but I used to hide at the edge of the aisle and look at the Woody and Buzz dolls and to see if they would move. Of course, it was daytime, so they wasn't gonna move. It was after the store closed when they got busy. But I was hopeful. I was hoping maybe they would work their magic on me. I felt special. I am special. So I figured they could trust me. I'm nothing like Andy. I would never put you in a toy chest. But I digress. Either way it goes, I just really enjoyed all of not only the movies that came after that, but like I said, the toys and the merch. But one of my favorite scenes was towards the end of the movie when one of my favorite characters, Mr. Potato Head, heard that he was finally going to have himself a lady. I ain't a singer, but... It was so funny the way he found out that there was going to be a Mrs. Potato Head because she was going to be everything that he wasn't. Now, Mr. Potato Head was funny because whenever he get upset, he got knocked over, all of his attachments would fall out. So my boy had detachable ears. He had a detachable mustache. And then my boy also had like the top hat, of course, which is classic bowler hat. And then, of course, lips and then the shoes. Even had little arms that came with them. And I thought that was a really cool toy. And when they started selling Mr. Potato Heads, of course, right along with it, they brought the Mrs. Potato Head doll, who came with many, many features and customizable accessories. All right. Now, imagine for a moment if society hands you something as blank as a Miss Potato Head figure and says, all right, these are the lips that are trendy this year. These lashes photograph better on IG. This hairstyle gets more attention from the girlies. These nails signal that you have status, so you got to get the coffin cutter. This contour shapes looks more feminine and it's in with the crowd. It's so T. And then this body type is in right now. So the slim thick is in. The BBLs are out. Imagine if somebody just handed you that. Over time, you would see that the people that want to fit certain aesthetics start conforming to certain beauty standards that may not be the best for their genetic makeup. Not everybody wins the genetic lottery, okay? And the reason why so many men, I believe, want their woman to be as close to natural as possible, because they want a beautiful daughter and they want a handsome son that looks just like mom and dad. So when you do all of these alterations, if you will, when you do all these alterations, you basically are robbing that man of the opportunity to see what could be naturally created. And not everybody's a breeder. So I'm not saying everybody you're going to eventually do that act is going to be somebody that's going to be like somebody you're with because they're beautiful or because you eventually wanted to be with them. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that when it comes to being natural and being naturally who you are, it's helpful when you're trying to vet somebody. It's extremely helpful. Now, does everybody care? Not everybody. Some people actually don't give a damn. I've known people that would prefer that somebody have makeup or hair extensions. Guys love the fake nails, especially when they're the kind that like dig into your back. The lashes, now they're getting out of hand in my opinion, but yeah, those caterpillar looking lashes, somebody love them. Yeah, the shapewear, all the skims, I know it helps in for certain women. Kim is definitely helping y'all in certain areas, so I get it. Even the fillers, the lip fillers and the tanning. There's people that do that regularly now. It's not even they put in lip fillers the same way they would put on their lipstick, if you will. Some do it as much as they put on lip gloss, but that's another story. I've noticed that cosmetic surgery has become something that's extremely common in certain communities as well, to the point where it's almost not a question of if, it's when are you going to do that. And if you're not doing cosmetic surgery, everybody is using some filter that they love. Every man or woman got a filter that they think makes them look the best. And while I'm not the type of person to be vain like that, not anymore at least, because I'm trying to be unbiased, I do understand the need to curate certain outfits and certain types of aesthetics so you can be pleasing to the masses. You want people to envy you when you're posting online. Just admit it. Just admit it. Even certain social media poses, y'all know which ones I'm talking about, the peace signs and the leg out. That's so common these days. It's wild. It's so sad. And these are different people, but it's the same type of thing, which is wild. And even with the Mrs. Potato Head doll, the doll underneath stays the same, but the presentation becomes modular. And it becomes more trend responsive than it is more of an individual look. Now, granted, there's a stock Mrs. Potato Head that everybody gets, but you can customize and make your own, but yet and still, people are still, for some reason or another, customizing it the same way. Shake what your doctor gave you is a real saying. These plastic pattern people are running rampant and believing that these trends are beautiful when they're really modified, dummied down variations of what you were created to truly look like. Not only is it a mockery to the people that created you, it's a mockery to the creator. Yeah, it's a mockery to the creator. Now, the anatomy of the Mrs. Potato Head doll is wild because she had swappable eyes just like her husband. But you also know these modern beauty equivalents could be similar to these colored contacts they be getting. The eye makeup, yeah, the wing eye makeup and the lashes. Yeah, that all changes the way your facial structure looks, changes your facial emphasis. And you emphasize certain things because you know that they could be overlooked if you do certain shadows and contours. She had different lips too, but like I mentioned earlier, they got the lip fillers and the lipsticks and then the overlining that they do. It's all a way to alter their attractiveness. And it's always to heighten those attractiveness cues, by the way. Certain things make them seem more attractive, and not only to the opposite sex. Yes. When they say they're not doing it for you, fellas, that's true. They're not doing it for you. They could be doing it because somebody in their past told them that they couldn't do it when they were younger. They could be doing it out of spite for somebody that did that to them, that told them they were too big to wear that, or too young to say that, or too old to do this. Yeah, they doing it out of spite sometimes. So don't be so vain and so arrogant to believe that every time somebody dresses, they're dressing for you. Most of the time they're dressing to cover themselves because of you more than they're dressing down. Unless she's that type of person. Okay. But yeah, just understand these wigs and hair pieces they be wearing. Yeah, that's more than likely not for you. The extensions and wigs and all the styling that they do, they're reinventing their identity. Do I need to remind y'all what happens when a girl goes red? Okay. All right. Okay. Yeah, there's whole lifestyles around certain hair colors in certain communities. So don't be fooled and be deceived. A lot of this stuff is not for you. It's to signify something. It's for you to identify with whatever that is this person's presenting. And you need to believe them when they're presenting these things. Now, Miss Potato Head has some really cool accessories that you can snap on to her as well. So all the jewelry, the nails, and designer fashion, that comes right along with some of these women. And it ain't even got to be designer fashion. Sheen, or however you say it, that's factory clothing, yo. So clearly they support baby labor, just not when it comes from their bodies. More on that later. I've never really looked at it any other way, but I noticed that most men don't see it that way. So I'm gonna say it like this: like, bro, we never get praised for having fake stuff on. If you got fake jewelry, fake sneakers, fake jerseys, fake all this stuff, bro, like, you're going to get clowned. Now, granted, you can still wear it if you want to wear it, but you're going to get clowned. These females can wear fake everything and you'll appreciate it. Not only that, you'll like fund it, which is weird. No, I'm not saying you can't and shouldn't wear makeup or do any of the jewelry and nails and things like that. Definitely do what you want to do to get your accessory game on point. But needing these things and relying on these things is what I'm pointing out. Not the act of actually indulging in it. It's reliance. It's reliance. It's always going to be reliance with me. If you're relying on unnatural things, that's a problem to me. That's a problem to me. You got to be righteous in your intentions. And all of these things are to deceive you. Now, granted, Mrs. Potato Head didn't have no replaceable body parts, but the cosmetic surgery that I mentioned earlier, the body sculpting, all of that is to match trends. Some of this stuff is dangerous, extremely dangerous, and we'll talk about those in the future, but not to say that you can't get certain surgery that's necessary for your overall health, but cosmetic surgery, some of that is just for your own liking. It's not a mandatory thing. Now, when we talk about somebody molding themselves to be more like what they want to see in the mirror, I'm not upset if you go and do certain things, especially like, for example, after you decide to have a child, if you decide to do the mommy makeover, once you're done having children completely, why not? You're done having children completely. And if you don't want to snap back naturally, why not? There's concessions and caveats for everything. Y'all love to look at these exceptions and then make them the rules. But guess what? Doing it naturally builds the confidence that you're hoping that you can gain from that immediate snatchback on that surgery table, by the way. Yeah, getting it out the mud builds that confidence because you know that's self-made. Doing things that is as self-made in this era is going to feel 1,000 times better than doing something that was store-bought. Yeah, home-cooked meals taste so much better than store-bought, even though damn near at this point they cost the same. They cost the same if you go out to eat than you would eat at home. But it's neither here nor there. It's the experience that you're paying for nowadays anyway. And I'm realizing that even with certain people's aesthetics, it's the experience you're paying for. Some people just look the part. They're not actually able to play it. All that twerking and can't take no, let's continue on with the conversation. That's pathetic. Let's get to the point where we actually are who we say we are, at least to our loved ones. And then we'll get to society. Not yet. Society's not ready for people to be unbiased in public yet. We can do it online because the internet's not a real place yet. But yeah, we can't do it in the world yet, all right? If we start really being unbiased with people and tell them, hey, all of that shit right there, we understand that performative peacocking that you're doing, it's rooted in insecurity and loneliness. Yeah, we're not ready for that type of transparency at length. But I feel like a lot of us need to start waking that up in real time for those that we care about. Because they hurting, yo. They are in real pain. They in real pain, yo. When you see people on social media curating the perception of their lives, especially the ones that you know for a fact, once they log off, if they ever log off, they're in real turmoil, real terrible situations. It's not fun to sit there and watch those people, even if they are entertaining at some point. Like I've watched people, man, like document their surgery journeys and talk about round 2, 3, and shout out to my doctor and all of these dolls and Barbies popping up. You know why they call themselves dolls and Barbies? Because most of them is plastic or silicone or sculpted or shaped or filtered. It's all about how they box themselves up into a presentation. And yes, just like Miss Potato Head, she had a box that she went in and they presented her on the shelf right next to her husband. Right next to her husband. But yeah, Miss Potato Head had a box that she came in too. And they got boxes that they put themselves in too, i.e. IG, TikTok personas. Yeah, it gets deep. It's all about how they can market their image. For a lot of people, even the Mr. Potato Heads out there. You fellas ain't slick with your fake beards, your toupees, and your weird hats, and like I said, your fake chains. But you don't get no props for that. A guy wearing a hairpiece is not looked at as like awesome or cool or even like something other people want to go out and do too. They clown KD for his alleged alopecia that he's dealing with, but if he went and got a toupee, they would clown him even more. They rather him go bald, and no man wants to go bald if he can actually grow hair. The same way I understand why some women want to have hair if they can't grow their hair, but we can talk about how you can naturally do it rather than putting that glue on your head, rather than putting that wig on your head. Saying it's a protective style, that's played out because studies show that it's not protecting anything. It's not protective. It's just a lazy style. And I understand that you don't want to have to manage your hair on a daily basis because you don't like your hair. But managing that wig, managing these other accessories shows that you care about things outside of yourself. Find ways to manage yourself naturally, and then maybe you'll begin to grow the confidence and esteem that you're outsourcing. Yeah, that's all you're doing is outsourcing your beauty at this point. And I'm not here to mock women or men. It's more about these modern consumer culture trends that are keeping people in this endless cycle of trying to customize themselves. Who's got the latest this? Who's got the latest that? Beauty is shifted. Beauty is shifted from this is naturally who I am to this is a version that I'm currently constructing. So you got people constantly in this whole reconstruction era and guys not finished with me, which is true. We're all works in progress. But are you naturally progressing towards that end game, or are you cheating? Are you cheating? Let's have a real conversation about what it likes to get it out the mud for real, yo. Like actually take the bumps and the lumps. It hurts. It's difficult. It's not convenient. As a matter of fact, it's the most inconvenient it can be in certain times. But it's all helping you grow. When you realize those inconvenient times will help you in times where you actually may need it, that's better. That's better than having to fucking deal with the fact that this fake stuff, you didn't actually put in the work to get it, and now it's just weighing you down. And the wildest thing about a lot of this is the people that claim to be natural when they know they're not. But I know why they do it. There's a couple of reasons why they do it, actually. Because they understand that being natural, quote unquote, still carries high social value. Yeah, when you perceive somebody as naturally attractive or naturally fit, even naturally youthful, they're often viewed as better genetically or higher in status, if you will, rather than somebody who was like heavily genetically modified. So when y'all say somebody's beautiful. Certain women say, oh, she's beautiful. It's because they know how much it took for her to look that way, not because she naturally is beautiful. And sometimes it is because she's naturally beautiful. But for the ones that we know that's modified, stop lying to us and acting like she's in the same league as somebody who got it out the mud and it just is naturally better, who won the genetic lottery. So there is an incentive to preserve the illusion of this effortlessness, even when you significantly enhance yourself. And I understand what you're doing because, like I said, it's all a delusion, right? And you understand that enhancements work better when they're invisible. So you want to do those subtle fillers, not just a full-blown blah. You want to do the natural looking makeup, just a little contour here, there, you know. You want to do hair extensions. You don't want to put on the full wig, you know. And you got to make sure it perfectly matches your hair color, by the way. You don't want it to just be any kind of color. And you got to make sure that any cosmetic procedures are just minimal. You'll go back for round 2 later. You just got to do something slight right here. We're going to do a little here and a little there, a little lipo here, a little rhinoplasty there, right? Because the filters ain't gonna be enough. Even though they do feel realistic sometimes, the filters ain't gonna be enough. So you want people to say that you look amazing rather than you obviously had work done. And you're not able to control that after a while. You know, this social competition that you're in, it rewards this perceived authenticity that you're actively fighting against by getting back on that table. You know that, right? You want to have this perceived idea that you wake up like this or you woke up like this. Because that's powerful in the society. You just woke up, slayed, body tea. You know, not you spent thousands of hours in the doctor's office, spent thousands of dollars on procedures, because that's going to perceive all this authenticity that you've been working hard for the casual observers to appreciate. So claiming naturalist can preserve a lot of things. It preserves your ability to compete. And I realize that a lot of these enhancements have been normalized. So I'm not upset and mad at you if you're just going with the flow. Well, she did it too. She did it too. All this whataboutism and that stuff's getting played out. We'll talk about that later. But I'm so tired of all this whataboutism and you doing stuff because somebody else did it. If somebody jumped off a bridge, would you do it too? Yeah, if it was fun. Yeah, but y'all will both be gone. So why do it? You can learn a lot from other people's mistakes and their writings. Therefore, you don't have to make those mistakes and you can learn twice as fast. So I understand when you see somebody else walking around with hair dye that you might want, you might be curious and might want to see what your hair might look like. You see a certain makeup trend or the lashes and nails and you want to see what that might look like on you. You see some shapewear that got a certain person that you know whose body is similar to yours looking a certain way. You want to look snatched too. You might want to go get some Botox or a minor little lip filler here too. Just because you see somebody that looks similar to you. But everything ain't for everybody. The definition of natural has shifted culturally because of all of these augmentations and all of these modifications. So now it's just, natural used to be no modifications. Now it's just, well, she didn't go extreme with it. It was just a mini BBL. It wasn't a full blown. Social media encourages that curated reality. So I get why you might be caught up in this whole idea of, well, I'm cool because people like it, but trust me, BBLs and stuff like that only really look good on IG and TikTok. That shit do not look great in public, nor does it feel amazing in your hand. I'm just keeping it real with you. After a while, especially if that thing don't get the rounds that it needs to maintain, it don't get the massages that it needs, that thing gets stiff like a brick. Or let's not talk about the actual problems that come along with those procedures, because not everybody passes away like y'all always try to fearmonger people into believing. Some people actually live, but the complications and the procedures are way more likely. So when you out here doing shit for social media, you're creating a contradiction. People want aspirational beauty, right? But audiences also dislike overt artificial shit. So all these influencers and celebrities often try to appear to be flawless. They also try to give you this effortless idea of how they're living their life, but they're enhanced and they're not quote unquote real. That type of tension encourages like partial closure and selective honesty. And I hate that shit because it also breeds ambiguity. And that ambiguity is what causes a lot of people not to understand exactly what is and what isn't. Because, oh, she's natural, or she didn't have what so-and-so had, so it ain't. Y'all move the goalposts just so y'all can score. And I get it, because there's a stigma around trying too hard too. In many culture, obvious cosmetic surgery can trigger a lot of criticism, right? They could think that you're vain. They might assume that you're insecure or superficial. They could even think that you're attention seeking, and a lot of it can be. Some people will get reductions on certain things so they can get less attention from people. So I get how it can go a lot of different ways. But see, people often protect their idealized self-image. So people naturally prefer identities that feel authentic and socially admired rather than something to make them seem like an outcast or a vagabond. So somebody that might psychologically frame their enhancements as like maintenance or self-care or small tweaks rather than full-on transformations, which is what they are. They're just full-on transformations. They're not just a small tweak. I understand you're not always trying to deliberately deceive people, sweetheart or young man. Sometimes it's just your self-perception shaped by like these normalized and ambiguous self bullshit. These social constructs really are tearing y'all apart. Get free as soon as possible or conform. Peace, real ones.
Thank you for watching this completely unbiased and wildly chaotic video featuring Grand Theft Auto 5 Online. The following content may have included reckless driving, criminal behavior, bad decisions, loud explosions, and the digital destruction of property. During this video, I may have also talked about pop culture, internet nonsense, celebrities, movies, games, and people in the chat. Any jokes, sarcasm, exaggerations, or insults directed at public figures, fictional characters, corporations, trends, or anything else are clearly comedic commentary and opinion, and are not statements of fact nor representations of my real-life views or beliefs. This video was for entertainment and educational purposes only. Everything shown happens inside a video game, where the laws of physics, morality, and traffic safety are optional. No real crimes were committed in the making of this video. No real people were harmed. No real allegations were being made about anyone living or dead. In fact, if it sounds ridiculous, then guess what? You guessed it! It probably is. If you are easily offended, allergic to sarcasm, or have a hard time placing your personal biases aside, then feel free to never come back to another video. I'm just being unbiased, y'all. Viewer and listener discretion is always advised.